Hello and good afternoon. I'm George Harbick, Chief Forecaster here with Weather Now Kentucky. We do have a couple of severe warnings that have been issued, so we want to go live here with you and just kind of talk about what's going on, where we're going with things, and what to expect throughout the day. Of course, we do have first that severe thunderstorm warning that's been issued out there for looks like eastern Jefferson County out there toward Crestwood, Park Lake, River Bluff, Green Spring, Raymore, Devondale, and Middletown. This is going to be for 60-mile-per-hour wind gust. Maybe a little bit of hail involved with that as well. Over here toward Moorhead, Lakeview Heights, and Salt Lick, another 60-mile-per-hour wind gust warning in gray. Actually, I'm going to change that real quick so it's a little bit easier for you guys to see. That's not even supposed to be in gray. It's supposed to be in blue. So let me fix that real quickly so you guys can see it a little bit better. That's a little bit better there. So in this blue, here's our flash flood warning. We do have one issued out here for Flemingsburg, over here toward Moorhead as well. Again, this is radar indicated flash flood warning, not observed just yet there. Let me pull up my chat real quickly. Tommy, that cold front occurred a few days ago. Brought temperatures down to the mid-80s for about 48 hours. We do have another flash flood warning out here for Henderson and Spotsville and Corydon, Kentucky. This is an observed flash flood warning, so definitely adhere to this one. And it is reported by the emergency management out there. Again, that goes until 5:45 p.m. Central Time. So if you're in Henderson and Spotsville or anywhere near I-69 corridor up there in northwestern Kentucky, make sure that you're avoiding roadways. Again, adhere to the flash flood warnings, folks. A lot of people just disregard them, and they're absolutely not to be disregarded. So, see, we have this broken line of storms here, kind of trying to get together. We just missed out on some nice rain showers here in Radcliffe a little bit ago where I live, but hopefully we get in on some of it because a lot of folks do need some rainfall. Overall, these storms, I'll turn the storm tracks on for you here. These storms are moving pretty much east. They were going east-southeast. Now they're going east-northeast a little bit. They're kind of wiggling back and forth, mainly west to east, if you will, of the orientation of the storm. So you can see the top half of the state, or the northern half of the state, is the one in main focus here. Why can't I see my preview? Let me pull up the YouTube studio real quick, just so I can see the preview real quickly, just to make sure you guys are seeing what I'm seeing. I've had the Burger King theme song stuck in my head all day for some reason, by the way. I have no idea why. Okay. Yeah, why can't I pull this up? Thank you. Perfect. All right, perfect. Okay, you guys can see what I'm seeing. I don't know why I can't see the preview, but at least I can see now that you guys are seeing what I'm seeing. All right, just wanted to make sure it was working. Sometimes when we have a lot of time in between broadcasts, it can make things not want to work. Of course, as we're diving into it, I'll show you the model data stuff as well. Show you guys kind of what we're seeing here. If you would not mind, tap the share button at the bottom portion of your screen. If you're over there on Facebook, you guys know how this works. It helps us to spread the information out. Of course, getting everyone up to date on what to expect there. You can see the warnings that are scrolling on the bottom portion of your screen and how long. Well, that's actually for all. Let me fix that real quickly. Copy that, and then we will come over here. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, now it's just for Kentucky. Perfect. Just how we wanted it. I didn't want it for the whole country there, but now you'll see the warning scrolling on the bottom just for Kentucky. Of course, again, in blue, we do have the flash flood warnings. In yellow, we had two severe thunderstorm warnings. The one near Louisville has expired. The one over here in eastern Kentucky is still up for 60-mile-per-hour winds. We'll take a look around on the velocity charts here. You can see there's definitely some downburst winds occurring just to the southeast of Jeffersontown is what likely prompted that warning there. Actually, the warning was up toward Crestwood. I'm not really seeing a whole lot there, but it looks like we might be getting close to another warning for J-Town, maybe Simpsonville in the near future. Over here for eastern Kentucky, you can see there are some downburst of winds occurring here as well. Do not get these confused with rotating winds. I know that it can look very similar, but when the red and green is very spaced out like you see there and back over here toward J-Town, those are usually your downburst of winds, not rotation. Let's go ahead and check over here in western Kentucky. I'm going to turn the fill off of these warnings. I cannot stand the fill. Fill opacity. Turn that down. Now we can see the outline of the warning without actually interrupting the radar there, which is the whole goal. Yeah, so not a whole lot happening here. As far as hail is concerned, I know a lot of people have been asking about that. Looks like we do have a few small hail cores there, maybe a bit of a stronger one out there toward Lawrenceburg. But again, a lot of that's going to melt. A lot of folks are in the upper 80s. Dew points are even in the upper 70s, so it feels very disgusting outside. So a lot of the small hail is going to melt by the time it hits to the ground. Going to create some heavier raindrops, again impacting your visibility for travel. So this is why we recommend whenever you see these downpours coming to not travel during them. Of course, flash flooding can happen pretty quickly when talking about heavier downpours like this. Overall, let's see here. We do have some some really strong accumulations already going out here. That's trying to say 5 to 6 inches. There's no way that's happening. Let's go ahead and check something else. I'll have to message them and make sure that's working correctly, because there's no way that's even remotely possible. Let's go ahead and check our precip totals since midnight here, and there we go. That looks a little bit more accurate. Over an inch and a half, almost an inch and a half, I should say, up here towards Shelby County, Kentucky. So they've already picked up an inch and a half. They may end up hitting the 3-inch total there if they keep getting the training of storms. And then you have another inch out here toward Crittenden County that's already occurred. Here is our forecast that we posted earlier today that I will show you real quickly. If it's the updated one. Yes, it is. Okay. And this is our forecast that we made, yesterday, around 10 a.m., I should say. Didn't really change a whole lot to it except for the timing, and we added a greatest flash flood risk zone out there for northern Kentucky. And you can see that's where we have picked up the heavier rainfall totals so far. So we have the box near Owenton. Your higher rainfall totals are up there as well. So pretty good forecast when it comes to where we picked out the greatest flash flood risk out there in northern Kentucky. And of course, out here in northwestern Kentucky, they seem to always be under flash flood risk there. So that's really no surprise. Again, your flash flood warnings being in blue that you see here on the screen. And then, of course, your severe thunderstorm warning is your yellow box out here. We'll get to a few of your questions now, but again, kind of just an overall, I just want to kind of explain once again here. Multiple waves of storms expected today, but the main one obviously being this stuff that we're seeing now. And you can see back on, I'll kind of pull out our drawing tool from WeatherWise here. You can see there's some more activity building out there in western, southwestern Indiana. I bet you Ben's probably pretty busy. If you have any friends or family in southern Indiana or you live there, of course, make sure you're following Ben Pine. Meteorologist Ben Pine, he'll get you taken care of on the Indiana side of the river. But some more activity occurring there. This may drop into central Kentucky as well. Again, highlighting mainly the river area. And you can see that's kind of where our forecast is as well. So pretty good forecast so far. I feel pretty confident in how this is performing. Again, you can see there is some activity out here in western Kentucky, and you still might see some thunderstorm and rain shower activity down here in the southern portion of the state, but it should be less active. So that's why we didn't really include you in the forecast there. As for the SPC's outlook for today, let's go ahead and take a look at that. Here's your categorical outlook. It is a 1 out of 5 risk for all of Kentucky, as you can see there. As far as your categorical outlook, tornado outlook, there is a 0% chance from the SPC. I think we had a 1% chance. Again, very, very, very low. Wind risk is obviously about 5%, again, in brown. So overall, just again, no hail risk. Just want to reiterate that. So overall, a pretty marginal day at best. We might see 5 to 6 severe thunderstorm warnings. We've already seen 2, so we're about halfway there at this point. We're probably going to see 5 to 6 flash flood warnings as well. We're already at 2, so we're halfway there on that as well. Do want to point out that there is an excessive rainfall risk that pretty much does include all of Kentucky today in yellow. It is a 15% chance. And we can see the QPF, which is the expected rainfall amounts for today. Let's go ahead and take our tool out for that. And 1 inch expected for most folks, a little 1.3 inches in that little lighter blue. Darker blue is about a ½ inch, green is about a ¼ inch, and then less rainfall totals out west Kentucky, which is obviously not true because we're already seeing an inch already reported out there in Crittenden County and Marion, Kentucky. So we can tell the forecast is already a little bit off, which I thought they were playing at a pretty what's the word I'm looking for here? Conservative. As far as the next 72 hours, here are your projected rainfall totals from the Weather Prediction Center. And again, around 2 inches or so expected for the northern portion of the state. 1 inch or so in these light blue zones. Purple is about 1.5 inches. Blue is about 1 inch. Green is a little bit under 1 inch. But again, we can already tell that forecast is a little bit off. So again, a general 1 to 3 inches of rainfall can be expected for a lot of folks over the next 72 hours. Some folks are not going to see anything at all. It's just how the summertime goes. You can kind of see here a lot of these gaps in the line. It's not going to be a perfect forecast. But again, a general 1 to 3 inches can be expected for a lot of folks over the next 72 hours. Like I told you guys earlier this week, is coming true now. It's a very wet into the week, a very wet into the weekend there. It's going to storm today, tomorrow, Saturday, maybe even into Sunday morning. Not going to storm the entire time, but it'll be off and on, of course. But just know that the overwhelming pattern for a lot of folks over the next 72, maybe even 96 hours is going to be thunderstorms. Do also want to remind you guys that loud does not equal severe. I've seen so many messages, especially from these nighttime storms that are having a lot of lightning with them, but folks freaking out. Again, a lot of these are going to remain sub-severe. Lightning does not equal severe weather. It does obviously equal thunder is going to happen. Maybe some heavier downpours. But again, loud does not equal severe. So don't get too freaked out by these. A lot of these are going to be scarier sounding than what they actually are. And I stalled long enough because I was waiting for this warning to come out here. Here is this warning for flash flood warning, going to be radar indicated in this blue flashing zone. For Eminence, Newcastle, LaGrange, Campbellsburg, Shelbyville, very slow moving. Loud thunderstorm here. It's actually producing some heavier rainfall totals. Again, in that area. Check the velocity out there. Not a whole lot going on that way. But again, we do have some heavier rains that are moving pretty slow. Take a little cheat code here and see how fast this is moving. Yeah, about 30 to 35 mile per hour or so. So again, pretty slow moving. Heavier, and of course, they're expecting this rainfall on the backside to move into there eventually. So I feel very good about that flash flood warning. Again, make sure you're adhering to the flash flood warnings, folks. We've seen a lot of deaths this year, a lot of injuries, a lot of lost vehicles, a lot of damages, simply because people just don't trust the flash flood warning. I really don't understand it, because we've seen so many damages. You think we would have all collectively learned our lessons, but we're still seeing people drive through rain. I mean, we have the camera here, of course, from. Do I have it up there? Yeah, I do. It's not from Hascams. I have to change that because. But this is from the E-Town government. They gave us access to this camera. It's overlooking I-65 there. And we've just been checking this one, and of course the one that's provided to us by Telecast Communications, and there's a couple of other cameras across the state, and you'll just be surprised by how many people are still driving through flooded roadways and ignoring barricades. Again, they're there for a reason. These flash flood warnings are out for a reason. They're to save your life. Floodwaters are a lot stronger than you think they are. They will take your car and they will scoot them off the road. Let's go ahead and get to a few of your questions now. I know I said that earlier, but get to a few of them. Mesa says, how do I see the models like the one you use to show us where the storms might be? I use Pivotal Weather. There's so many other websites you can use as well, but I use Pivotal Weather. I do believe WeatherWise is working on implementing models into their radar's site here and their app as well. So maybe if you're patient enough, you can use it on that. But I use Pivotal Weather because I think it's the simplest way to look at these things. By the way, here is the model data for tonight. Again, as of right now, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, it's picking up on all those heavier rains that are occurring. Maybe a little bit too aggressive for some of these cells. But you can tell it kind of balloons the rainfall here. Actually, a little bit more south with the stalling line than it originally forecasted. So we might have to move that flood box that we made. Might have to make it bigger and move it to the south a little bit. As of 8 p.m. though, you see storms are still ongoing in central Kentucky. 9 p.m. storms are kind of weakening now. And again, once the sun goes down, we know the rule of thumb in summer, folks. Once that sun goes down, a lot of these storms go away. You'll still have some small isolated ones that are going to be loud throughout the night. But overall, once that sun goes down, the majority of these storms go away in the summertime. So again, expect a pretty active day, especially if you're the northern half of Kentucky. So again, make sure you can kind of use this imaginary line here, if you will. Especially if you're in this northern half of Kentucky, the upper half of Kentucky, expect just a loud, soaking day. Not going to be an entire day thing. It'll be off and on. But just expect loud thunderstorms that may produce, so much rainfall that a flash flood warning might be needed in a lot of places. What's the chance of a tornado? Right now, about 0%. Just got a flash flood warning for eastern Jefferson County. Yeah, right there in blue is where we have that indicated. Just make sure you're obviously keeping an eye out. How about the winds? There is one severe warning out there in eastern Kentucky in that yellow box there. I know it's kind of hard to see because all the colors are so blended. But again, we do have that one severe warning out there for up to 60 mile per hour winds. Probably going to be allowed to expire, which it is. Most wind gusts right now are about 40 to 50 mile per hour off and on. Planet X is pretty close to Earth now and has been causing havoc on Earth. That, to me, makes absolutely zero sense. Mason, no, there's repeated chances today. Again, we have the line here now that's in Kentucky. Then you have this activity back out here towards southern Indiana, and then you have the activity out here towards southern Illinois that's going to move through as well. So there's possibly two good chances of thumping thunder showers, and with a third chance possible. Again, tornado chances are about 0%, guys. Again, I want to reiterate, just like we touched on the broadcast yesterday, tornado chances in the summer for Kentucky are historically pretty rare. Especially once we get past June, it's pretty rare for us to get any tornado chances until the following spring. Now, of course, it happens, but it's more on the rare side than you would think. I heard toward Lexington they might get a derecho. I'm assuming is what you were trying to say. No, that would not be happening today. A derecho will not be happening today. You guys got to be very careful who you're listening to. That's because you don't know what the Holy Bible truly means. Yo, Lindy, I hope you have a good day. You are now banned. I mean, what are we talking about here? You're talking about another planet affecting Earth's weather that's suddenly just catapulted toward Earth. That's just crazy to me. We have a lot of misinformation going around. Okay, measuring some of these wind gusts again, we do have a lot of 30 to 45 mile per hour wind gusts occurring, especially in southern Indiana. So if you live on that side, once again, make sure you're following meteorologist Ben Pine. He'll take care of you over there on the southern Indiana side of the river. Again, just kind of measuring here 30, 40, 35. Yeah, so again, generally 30 to 40 mile per hour winds are occurring, potentially gusting up to 50 from time to time. And of course, there may be a couple severe warnings for up to 60 mile per hour winds, but for the most part, winds are remaining pretty tamed. Brian, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you guys for all the shares on the broadcast. We appreciate that. Is this going to affect Campbellsville? There is a chance of it affecting Campbellsville later on this evening. Of course, nothing near you right now. We have a fall tornado season during October and November. I mean, it's pretty rare. It's pretty rare. Now, a lot of people are having a lot of recency bias when it comes to the last few years. Of course, last few years it has been pretty active, especially with the December 10th tornado for Mayfield and Bowling Green and Princeton and all those folks out there. Of course, we have the New Year's Day tornadoes back in 22. 23, there was definitely an active severe weather period in late December, early January as well. But as far as severe weather leading toward tornadic activity, it's pretty calm on this half of the year. So again, July to December, it's usually pretty calm in Kentucky when it comes to that level of severe weather. Now, of course, we do have a couple of remarkable events that occurred that may be skewing a lot of people's perception on it. But as far as numbers wise, it's usually on the more rare side for us. Does that mean it's not going to happen this year? No, it can absolutely still happen. But again, it's more on the rare side. No, Katie. Again, most folks are going to see 30 to 40 mile per hour winds if they see a thunderstorm today. A couple of these spots, like again, we have the one severe warning out here. We had the one warning in Jefferson County. Most folks are going to see sub-severe winds today. But again, these are definitely going to be more loud than anything. Pretty sure Planet X is not in the Bible anyway. Yeah, it's not. That's why I just banned the person, because someone's preaching me about the Bible but doesn't know what's in it, and that's just telling me that the person's looking to troll. So, time out for Bardstown, Elizabethtown. Again, storms could pop up any time between now and sunset, guys. Again, we have multiple waves of storms. We have the one that's approaching Bardstown now. Out there towards southern Indiana is another wave, and then out here toward Illinois is another wave. So there's really no timelines, really. I mean, it's anywhere between now and about sunset. Ooh, a tornado warning just went out somewhere. Not here. Wow, all the way up there? I just want to check this out real quick. I gotta see this. I've got to see this. I haven't seen a tornado warning up here in forever. Yeah, that doesn't really look like a whole lot. Again, while the radar's off, though, I want to kind of point out we do have flash flood warnings all in blue here. 4 flash flood warnings that are out right now. Again, going to be for out here toward Highway 201, just east of Sandy Hook in eastern Kentucky. Moorhead of Flemingsburg, another flash flood warning. LaGrange to Shelbyville, another flash flood warning. And then over here toward Henderson and Corden out there in western Kentucky, another flash flood warning is up. So we have 4 flash flood warnings right now. Kind of almost matches up with our forecast as well. So again, the forecast is going pretty well. So if you paid attention the last couple days, you should have been prepared for what's heading our way and already here today. James, thank you very much for tuning in. Yeah, Dakota, again, I've been kind of keeping an eye out for everything. It's looking like 30 to 40 mile per hour winds for the most part for most folks. Yeah, this is pretty harmless out here. This is not anything to be concerned with. Anything for Central City? Again, maybe a hit miss thunder shower sometime between now and about sunset. It's going to be a very common answer for a lot of you folks. Again, it's summertime, kind of hard to tell exactly where they're going to pop up or they're not going to pop up. But you do have your main line up here, pretty much along the I-64 corridor to points north. And then you have another little line out here for western Kentucky moving to the east there. And then, of course, you have the activity for southern Indiana and southern Illinois. No, this will not be flooding like we had earlier this year that led to evacuations. Again, that was a pretty remarkable event, very historic event. Again, this is more of your lower end threat, but again, you still have to adhere to the warnings because flash floods can, especially if you're in a lower lying area or lower elevation area, like out here in western Kentucky, or again, even up here toward the northern portions of Kentucky where it's a little bit more lower lying. Again, those flash floods can really concentrate in one area, so you have to be very careful while you're traveling. We do not cover Indiana, my friend, but meteorologist Ben Pine does. If you want to go follow him, here I will put it in the chat for you. Again, overall though, folks, very low end threat for severe weather today. Might see 5 to 6 warnings. We've already seen 2 warnings, so we're about halfway there already. Again, and the warnings themselves are going to be pretty borderline. Up to 60 mile per hour winds pretty much is the main threat today, as well as flash flooding. Do not see any risk for tornadic activity. Do not really see any risk for any damaging hail, really. But overall, just kind of a lower end day that you just really need to pay attention to. Sorry, I've had this cough going on for a couple weeks now. It's not going away. Yes, everything is sub-severe right now, Cecilia, so everything is regular thunderstorm activity at the moment. I want to reiterate, these are going to be more loud today than anything. More loud and more rainy today than anything. I don't really expect robust severe weather. Okay, just more loud than anything today. And loud does not mean severe. Ironically enough, Ben just texted me. What? Yeah, just mainly flash flood risk today. 60 mile per hour wind gust is the max threat for winds. And again, most folks are going to see winds well below those speeds. More so, just heavier rain showers, thunder, lots of lightning involved today. My goodness, I've had this call for a week and a half, almost 2 weeks now, and I'm just getting over it at this point. Bowling Green's not going to see a whole lot today. Might see a stray thunder shower later on this afternoon and evening. But other than that, don't expect a whole lot for Bowling Green or the southern half of Kentucky. Again, I want to remind you folks, most of your activity today is going to be above this blue line. So again, above the blue line here. That is the worst aerial I think I've ever made. Again, most of your activity is going to be above that blue line, pretty much in between. My headset just died. I'm keeping it on though, just to keep my head warm. E-Town currently right now is a little bit south of these storms, but I expect that this activity out here will eventually make it into the Hardin County area later on this afternoon and evening. Maysville, Kentucky. Yeah, you did see some stronger wind gusts up there, 45, 50 mile per hour. Most of your tree limbs are falling because your environment's so saturated. You've seen rain showers over the last couple of days, and now you're seeing a lot more rain showers today. Everything's pretty soft out there. Some Monticello areas should be all right. Yeah, again, you're well south of that line. Again, cannot rule out a stray thunderstorm or two below the blue line here. But for the most part, the bulk of the activity will be north or above that blue line. Thank you, Ricky. Hope you have a good one, man. Thank you, Krista. Yeah, I had a stomach bug just after the 4th of July, like around July 7th to 8th. Supposed to be a 24-hour bug, lasted like 3 days. That was terrible. And then right after that bug left, like literally the day, my throat started hurting, and then I had this cough. So I'm wondering if I had maybe something a little bit more than a stomach bug. Maybe I had, I don't know, the flu's going around quite a lot. I didn't go to the doctor because I just assumed it was a stomach bug. But man, it was rocking me. It was rocking me. No, there is no tornado threat today, really. Thank you, Lexi, for that report there. I hope you guys are doing good out there in the O Borough. Carla, we cover all of Kentucky, not just Western Kentucky. Williamsport on the eastern side of the state. Again, not going to see a whole lot if you're below that blue line. If you're above that blue line, you might see a little bit more rain activity. Yes, Lundy, Ohio County is okay. Up to Kentucky, a little bit south of that blue line, or right on that blue line there. So again, may see a stray thunder shower or two later on this afternoon and evening. Don't expect a whole lot of activity for you. Richmond, expect some thunderstorm activity throughout the afternoon and evening, especially as that stuff out there to the west in the blue circle gets a little bit closer to you. If you have kids in the pool, just make sure you're keeping the ear out for thunder. If you hear thunder, that means lightning's in the area. You need to get them out of the water. Other than that, don't expect too many impacts for you. Again, you do have some stuff, but depending upon where you're at in Mee County, again, we do have the activity. It's over here. So if you're in the northern half of Mee County, probably going to see some thunderstorm activity here in about 20 to 30 minutes. So probably a good safe bet to get them out of the pool by 5 o'clock just to be safe. Round of bronchitis. Dude, I had that earlier this year. That's so bad. I wonder if that's why this cough is a little bit more active than what it should be. Because I did have bronchitis earlier this year, and apparently it could take a long time to like fully get all that inflammation out. I don't know. I still don't understand it. What about Danville? Same answer for Richmond. Again, if you're close to an area I already mentioned, it's probably going to be the same answer. So again, likely just a couple of rounds of thunder showers later on this afternoon and evening for you folks. Not expecting a whole lot of activity for you. Kevin, thank you for becoming a supporter on YouTube. I appreciate that extra level of support. Probably have a few hours carry until it gets to Nicholasville. No one needs to go to the basement or shelter or freak out. Again, this is a very low wind threat, folks. This is not something you need to go run into the horses about. This is just something you need to keep an eye on the WNK page or wherever you follow NWS or maybe it's Ben Pine in Southern Indiana. Again, just keep an eye out for what folks are saying. Adhere to the warnings and you'll be okay today. Again, this is not anything like we see in the spring. Again, this is a regular summertime thunderstorm event that's going to feature a little bit more rain than we've seen the last few weeks. Yeah, Cecilia, I've been on that stuff. I've been taking all the vitamins and stuff, and it's getting there. I will say thank God for body armor and those liquid IV things, man. That really got me through. That really got me through the brunt of it back around the 8th to the 12th. Because the 8th through the 12th, man, I have not spent that much time in bed. I was actually crying one night. My stomach was hurting so bad, and it takes a lot. It takes a lot to get me to cry like that. But man, I was tore up. I couldn't tell you why they extended that marginal risk out. Again, they have their own tools that they look at. But again, our forecast looks like this. We have not really changed it. Again, 2 out of 5, 1 out of 5 T-storm. Again, you can still see some thunderstorm activity even in that white zone all the way in the southern half of the state. But the bulk of the activity when it comes to winds and flash flooding is going to be in both of those orange zones, and we've even boxed out where we feel like the bulk, the very peak of the greatest flash flood risk is. And you can see there's already a warning in that area over here just west of Owenton. And you can see that if I turn off this radar here, what radar am I on? Hello? I'm on Nashville's radar. What in the world? We can see the bulk of the warnings are over here in the northern corner of Kentucky and the northwestern side of the state. And if you look at our forecast, that's exactly where the dark orange zone is. So again, I think our forecast did pretty well, and it's still doing pretty well. Never had the Liquid IV, but a friend of mine took it. And dude, they're a lifesaver. I will tell you that they're pretty disgusting. I don't like them. I've tried watering them down and everything. They're very strong. I guess it all depends on the brand and stuff you get, flavor them, right? So I guess that's pretty personal or pretty opinion based. But dude, I'm telling you guys, whenever you get sick or whenever you're just feeling like you're stuck in a rut, and whenever those liquid IVs, those flash IVs that you can dump into a water bottle, man, they get you fixed right up. They get you fixed right up. Emergency? Oh yeah, we have plenty of that in stock. We have plenty of that in the closet in there. I also hate drinking those too. These are mainly moving west to east, Caitlin. We absolutely do need this rain, which is kind of ironic to say, again, given the amount of rainfall that we've seen so far this year. It's been a pretty historic rainfall, especially the first half of the year, January through June. Pretty historic. I believe it was top 10, maybe even top 5. I'll have to go look just off the top of my head. The amount of rainfall that we saw, especially even the first quarter of the year, that was ridiculous. But ironically enough, now a lot of the state does need rainfall. There are quite a few spots that are going into drought status. Ironically enough, yes, we do need this rainfall. Just got a flash flood warning for Louisville until 6 p.m. I don't know if they edited it, but I believe this one was already towards 6 p.m. Bowling Green, again, not expecting a whole lot for the BG area. May see a stray thunder shower or two later on this afternoon and evening. This rain will cool things down some. Absolutely. The dew points today were insane. There's 2 max air temps there. It's quite interesting. The heat index, even right now, I mean, look at the heat index right now. 105 down there in Bowling Green. 103 over here, if I can click on it, toward Todd County. But again, you can kind of see the effect that the rain showers are having. So if you're wanting to cool down, you're rooting for this rain to get to you. Look at the difference. Bowling Green 105 over here where it's rained for a little bit here. Owen County in 72 degrees on the heat index. There were quite a number of folks that got up to about 107, 108 on the heat index today. It was very, very hot out there. I even saw some dew points into the 80s. Right now, there's dew points are 78 in Warren County. I mean, that is some swampy stuff. That is some swampy stuff. Megan, good evening or good afternoon to you, wherever we're at. I know, Lexi. Last couple of years when it got dry outside, I used to turn sprinklers and water on. But you gotta water so much more than I ever thought of. So this year I didn't even attempt it. I was just like, you know what? If it burns up, it burns up. It'll come back in the fall. That's kind of where I was at this year with things. Don't forget, guys, you can see the flood warnings, the flash flood warnings at the bottom portion of your screen there. If we do have a severe thunderstorm warning, it will pop up there as well. All right, I think that's going to do it for us, though. I don't want to stay on here with you if there's nothing really too impending happening. You guys know we want to be live whenever anything super, super serious is happening. Right now, everything is sub-severe, no matter how loud or scary it looks outside. Right now, everything is below severe levels. Right now, our main risk is going to be that flash flood threat that we talked to you about. And again, we'll keep posting our radar updates and analysis every hour or so on the Facebook and Twitter pages, so make sure you're paying attention to those. Just wanted to go live real quickly earlier because we did have those 2 severe warnings with a number of flash flood warnings coming out. Right now, a lot of that has calmed back down a little bit. So with that said, I'm George Herbert, Chief Forecaster here with Weather Now Kentucky. Thank you so much for tuning into our broadcast. Of course, if we need to go live again, we will be back live here with you on Facebook and YouTube. But until then, stay safe, Kentucky.